Hey everybody. So today, this is the second part of our saddlebag video. Third part if you count the video we made making the rolled handle. I'll try to link those in the description or in a corner or however YouTube allows that. But we're basically going to finish this up. So what we need to do is we need to get our body put together. I'm going to get a pocket in there, and then we're going to do a shoulder strap, and we should be done. So first thing I'm going to do, this is the back of our bag, and on the inside, I want a pocket, just a short pocket, but I want to pop it out a little bit. So if you remember back from the first video, what I did was I angled these sides in a little bit. Now, the reason I did that was mostly just for the design, but what it also allows me to do is for the pocket, I'm going to keep those sides straight. And when I glue this together, that means it'll pop out a little bit. So we're going to get that done now. So we have our pocket, and this is the back of the bag. I'm going to glue the pocket in here, and since I didn't cut that angle, when I glue the sides to match, because the back of the bag is angled, see how it's going to pop this pocket out a little bit? And I'm doing that because my mom requested a place to put like a water bottle. So the water bottle will go in there. The one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to skive down these sides because we're going to have the full weight of the back, and then when we put the top on, this is going to be glued like this. It'll be 3 layers of like 7-ounce leather, kind of thick. So I'm going to skive this down, remove some bulk. So this glue up is going to be a little difficult because the whole bag's coming together. And what you might notice is on the front seam we have an overlap. On the back seam we're going to do together so that it'll pop the bag out like that. I can't pretend like I'm going to do this smoothly, so Kayleen is going to do her best to kind of follow along, and we'll get this thing stuck together. So we have our the Weaver Power Edge Slicker here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sand down these edges before I stitch, because I want to get, just with everything going on, I didn't get a perfect edge here. So we're going to sand everything down so it's level, so when I lay my stitch line, it'll all be even. And so we can finally see what the bag's gonna kind of look like here. Now we need to make our closure and stuff, but once we have everything sewn up, I've gone through and I've sanded the edges again, and now I'm going to bevel. I also cut the curve for our flap, so that's going to be about what we're looking like. So I'm going to bevel everything, and then I'm going to go through and burnish the outside, and then this piece will be like pretty much done. We still have to do more stuff, but this piece at least will be ready to go. So the next thing we have to do once we have everything burnished is make our closure system. So I made up this strap. I didn't do it on camera because it's just a strap. It's 2 layers of 4-ounce leather stitched all through. And the way this is going to work is it's going to slide through our loop. But what we need to do first is I've drawn out this square, and this is where having a pattern really comes in handy because this took me about 20 minutes. And if you have a pattern, you just trace out the pattern. But this loop is going to go, I'm going to cut this out. It's going to go through. And then the loop, or the strap, is going to slide through the loop, locking the flap into place. No buckles, no nothing that's too hard to use. And then all I'm going to do is use a simple rivet and rivet this through on the back, just like that. This is an old, I've always called them cobbler's anvils, but I'm sure it has a different name. And these are great for when you have a bag constructed and you need to set a single rivet on the inside, where if you don't have a pattern, you don't really know where it's going until it's put together. This is great because you just slide the bag on and set your rivet. So let me show you how this closure works now that it's all put together. It's very simple. You have your hole that I always make a little big so that it has a little wiggle room, because the amount of stuff you have in the bag is going to affect how this fits. And then all you have is your strap. Slide the strap through, and it has to be going down like that. And you're closed. And that's it. And you have a nice, secure bag. And then, when you're ready to use it, you got to open it. Boom, boom. That's it. And granted, this is brand new too, so it'll break in and slide in nice. It is, you do have to kind of mess with it a tiny bit when it's all brand new and laying kind of has nothing in it and stuff. But that's why we make stuff out of leather. It breaks in beautifully. So there's our bag body, pretty much totally done. So once the bag is done, we just have to make a shoulder strap. And oddly enough, the shoulder strap's probably going to take close to as long as the bag did, because I'm going to do a fully stitched shoulder strap. Say that 3 times fast. I wouldn't call this vintage. It's just kind of older solid brass hardware. A buckle, 2 spring clips. I just like the patina on it. And it's going to be, the buckle's 1.25 inches. So I'm going to cut 1.25 inch straps out of the same leather we made the bag out of, but I'm going to do 2 layers of it so it's lined and you don't see any of the fiber side. And it's going to be a lot of stitching, so we'll get this going. So once I have my strips cut out, I'm not going to use these full length, but I am going to glue them up full length so that I have the material. And it gets really difficult when you have like a 4-foot strip that you're doing. So what I do is I cut out 2 strips because I need 2 separate pieces, but I'm not going to cut out 4 strips. I'm going to then take a long piece and I'm going to glue these up as straight as I can, and then I'm going to cut them out. It just makes things a little bit easier. You will have a little bit of waste, but when you're making a strap like this, you just kind of have to accept that you're going to lose maybe a 1/2 square foot of leather in the battle to get these things to come out right. It's really, really hard to make strap goods like this, keep them straight, etc. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these up, stick them down, and then sew them up, basically. And so 4 or 5 hours later, we have a fully hand-stitched shoulder strap. This is part 1, and this is part 2. So the way this is going to work is one part is going to have a buckle on it, and then this part will have, this end is just basically like making a belt in 2 parts. But then the other sides, I've already done this one, have to have our spring clip, which is going to attach to our bag. So I left this one undone, and I'm going to show you how I did it. The first thing is I made our strap, or our like attachment point, and I made it to kind of mimic the D-ring attachment because you're going to see them together. Right? So they match, the rivet spacing is the same. The one thing I did on this though, because this is sort of a point of, it could stretch, right? And this leather is really nice, but it's a little stretchy. So I laminated it with veg tan on the underside. Now this is just like 4-ounce veg tan. I didn't stitch it. It's glued like they do on watch straps. And then the reason I did that was because A, it's a small piece, and B, these are going to be riveted together like this, so they're not going anywhere. And the pressure the bag puts on this piece of leather is going to keep that glue nice and stuck forever, pretty much. So all that's left, we need to basically do this again on this and rivet our spring clip to the end of our shoulder strap. So the last thing we need to do is we need to get our buckle attached to the shorter end of our strap. And when I made this strap, it's about a foot long. What I did was I cut this little notch so that at the heel of the buckle, everything will fit in nice. And then I made, this is all glued up. When I laminate things, I like to do like 2 layers of glue and make sure it's like barge or something that's meant to like glue soles onto shoes so that it really sticks if you're not stitching it. So I cut sort of a nice little taper here so there'll be some visual interest. And then I have our keeper here with more of our belt staples. So we're going to have our buckle here. I'm going to laminate this and it's going to hold our buckle on, and then our keeper will be underneath with 2 rivets in between. So I'm going to go through and do that. So we have a little veg tan here. We have our Italian tumbled veg here. Now, when you're laminating something that's going to be bent completely in half like this, you can do this with wallets too. You want to make sure you glue it bent, because if you glue it flat and then you bend it, you'll get a lot of wrinkles and bumps and stuff. So what I'm going to do is, this is our veg tan. I'm going to glue. This doesn't have to be exact, but you just want to make sure you get the bend roughly in the right position. So I'm going to start at the center here, and then I'm going to push this side down, and I'm going to push, and you want to press along the way. I'm going to push this side down. So now you can see it's glued in the shape that it's going to be forever. Now, when you lift it up, you can see it's going to start to lift up and our wrinkles are going to start. But that's okay, because this is what it's going to look like forever. So now it's pretty simple. Just imagine that you're going to stitch this, but you're not. So we're going to trim it, edge it, burnish it, punch our hole, get our rivet holes punched in, and then we're ready to install it with the buckle and the keeper onto our shoulder strap. So we have our buckle kind of put on. We're going to put our keeper on next. So this is going to work as I'm going to slide this keeper over, and the keeper is going to go under the back part, but it's going to stay over the front part. And what that's going to allow us to do, let me grab the other strap, is once this strap is through the buckle, it'll slide right through here, nice tight fit. So all that's left is to do one more rivet, and we're on the home stretch here. We just got to punch the sizing holes. And here we go. Let's get this all together. So we have our bag, we have our shoulder strap that took basically as long as the bag. And so the way it's going to go together is, let's set it on about that one. And you'll notice I put a bunch of holes in here. I don't know where she wants to carry it, so with a crossbody, I just put a hole every inch for like 8 or 9 inches. That's going to go right like that, and that'll end right at the buckle there. And we're going to clip one to this D-ring. We're going to clip one to this D-ring. And there we go. I'll probably use Kaylina as a model outside so you can see what it looks like. But we open our flap. We have our pouch inside, nice open area. Flap is still breaking in, or our closure I mean, but look, goes on nice. And then we have our nice rolled handle on the back, and I'll polish this up. This stuff kind of, you touch it and it scuffs, but it polishes right up. So there we go. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a fun series, and we'll see you in the next one.